What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. Well, it's a little gray today, but it's still a beautiful day. A nice wintry day in summer in Nevada. And I'm in here with my co-host, my guy, the only Sacramento Kings fan with a growing fan base now as they continue to light the beam. What's up, Spread Astaire? How are you, man? Good morning.
Man, yeah, I'm doing great. Feeling better. Finally got rid of that month-long cold. We didn't get the win last night, but hey, we've been starved for good basketball here in Sacramento for so long. It's just nice to see a competitive team out on the court. Everything's good on my end.
Yeah, man, you guys have put together finally a good team. You got a good coach. The NBA put you in a bad situation last night. You got the Hawks hungry for a win. They're on a bad losing streak, and then you guys on a back-to-back after winning a real thrilling game the night before. So the line pretty much told you that they were going to lose that game. But you guys got a lot to look forward to in the spring with that team. I really like what you guys are doing over there. The whole football world is, dealing with the incident that happened on Monday Night Football during the Bengals and Buffalo game with Damar Hamlin. Unfortunately, had a cardiac arrest, man. And we got some good news from the NFL Network and Ian Rappaport today with them saying that he finally opened his eyes, and that's really a great thing, man. We've never seen anything like that on the football field, and for it to be such a big audience with probably the biggest Monday Night Football game of the season, it was really scary. And I know that the NFL was facing its biggest fear with that whole situation.
Yeah, and a lot of times we do look up and make these guys heroes, and rightfully so, the football players, because it takes a lot of hard work and dedication, doing the right thing to get to that level. But we saw the real heroes on the field there on Monday night as they were able to get out and save that man's life like they do every day. So grateful to have the great first response system here in America.
Definitely, and we'll continue to pray for that 24-year-old man. He's a young kid, and from everything I heard, a great kid. And so hopefully he continues to get better as we move forward into this NFL postseason. Man, we got a really special guest that's coming up. We did really good in the past. We're not going to even go over that. If you guys watched last week's show, you did pretty well. We won with Oklahoma. We won with Washington. We won with UCLA first half. We took an L with Notre Dame against South Carolina, but South Carolina had that game. They kind of blew it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
I checked the score. I said, "Oh, another W." And then I looked later. I said, "Wait, how did that one not win?"
that was a really good job by Marcus Freeman in that game. Notre Dame made some great adjustments offensively, man, and that quarterback Tyler Buchner played a lot better than I anticipated. He's more athletic and can run around a little bit more than I thought. Easy victory with Tennessee against Clemson. We knew that Josh Heupel would have those guys ready. Easy victory with Alabama. The last time for Bryce Young to come out there and shine, and he really put on the show for everyone. They won the first half in the game on that one. I was also told you guys the TCU was going to cover first half against Michigan. They ended up with the outright. What do you think about that game with TCU and Michigan, man? A lot of people, a lot of my clients were thinking I was crazy when I sent out to them to take TCU. They thought they were going to get mowed, but TCU shows you that Texas high school football talent is vast.
And the great part was is those semifinal games traditionally haven't been good. We've seen a lot
Yeah,
of blowouts, and it was awesome to have two fairly competitive games. I mean, the second one was great too.
yeah,
So
we
that's great
cashed
for the
that one
college
too.
football world. Yeah, great for the college
Yeah,
football
yeah,
world.
we cashed that one too. Ohio State against Georgia. Ohio State should have won that game. CJ Stroud did everything he could to win that game, and he's one of those guys that actually won in a loss because um, a lot of the things that he did on that field to make them uh, stay in that game was things he hadn't done all year, and most of all was using his athleticism. I did not know the Stroud could run like that, and I want to say kudos to Ryan Day because he's had two quarterbacks in Justin Fields and C.J. Stroud who typically other coaches would take their athleticism and run them in the ground by running a bunch of quarterback runs, trying to use them like Taysom Hill or something and get them all beat up, and he didn't. Instead, he taught both of those guys the complete passing tree and taught them how to run an NFL passing system, and that's going to be better for them later on in their career. And this kudos to Ryan Day for that. That type of stuff would make me want to send my son over there to play for him because he's not just judging the quarterback by what he can do athletically. He's thinking about what's best for his future. And C.J. Stroud, he shot up the draft board with that performance against Georgia. He did everything he could, and he actually put him in great position to win that game. Unfortunately, the kicker could not make the kick, but I was a little bit disappointed that Day wasn't more aggressive trying to get closer for the field goal. They kind of, after they got across the 40, kind of, throttled down a little bit, and I think they could have made that an easier kick for that kid. But overall, just a spectacular week last week for us on the betting side. Now let's get to the present, man, and let's bring in a very special guest, man. One of the most respected guys in the sports betting world, and also just a great basketball mind overall. We got Coach Richard Goodman, aka Ricky G, up in here. How you doing, Coach?
Good morning, gentlemen. First of all, you guys are talking about college football. Am I the only guy that had USC?
Yeah, you're not the only one. Unfortunately, you fail with the public, and you usually don't do that. You was with the other 80%.
Well, no. What happened to me is, I'm once in a while I become emotional, and we know when you become emotional when you wager, you're going to pay the man. And I'm a Pac-12 guy. Yep. I back to Pac-12, and the SC game I had the right side. Utah, I didn't never have the right side.
No.
And one other thing first of all, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
But I'm on the show with the Kings fan? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are balling. I like what Brown is doing. I like your squad, but I think we need to give some love to your general manager. He put a nice roster together.
Yep.
I can't believe we haven't extended him yet. So I hope they get on that. Let me ask you a question about the Kings. My concern is that we're building, and hey, this is fine because we've been bad for so long. I'm fine with the second round style team. How far do you think a team with a guy like Sabonis at center can make it? My worry is that he's so poor defensively that when it comes to the playoffs, people are going to be able to score in the paint on us too much. What do you think about the overall ceiling for this core with Fox and Sabonis, neither being good defenders?
That's a great question. I like Sabonis actually, and I think he fits with Fox. So I think your strength is with Sabonis with Fox on the offense. I think Brown can figure it out on the defense end with Sabonis. But you just said something was very interesting. I'm gonna give you some food for thought. You said your GM, you hope he gets extended, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know who else don't have a contract?
Who?
Bob Myers in Golden State. You got the Warriors-Kings relationship. Is that a possibility?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
That is a possibility.
Myers has to be pretty secure, though, huh?
Well, I don't know. Myers don't have a contract this year. Why? Or he don't have a contract for next year? Why is that going on right now?
Right
now Myers can use the Kings as leverage.
Wow. I didn't even realize that Myers was up too.
Yes. And your guy's up. And you got your owner who loves Warriors knockoffs.
Yeah, well, he was a minority owner of the Warriors. That's how he got into the league.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Coach, we always talk about that. The relationship between the Kings and the Warriors is great that you brought that up. I mean, we literally always talk about that, about how the new owner for the Kings wants to be the baby Warriors, and he's really doing a good job of finally kind of, getting that type of roster that the Warriors had with them being deep, not just the first five. As we know, the great Warriors team were deep. That's what made them so good, is because when that second unit came in, they pounded you, and he did a really good job of building a formidable roster. And as you said, Spread, my problem with him is Sabonis. He was really exposed against Steven Adams against Memphis. Steven Adams was having his way with him, so Sabonis, I would love to see him move to the 4 and they get, someone else to hold centers, because Sabonis is just a great player, man. He's one of the most versatile guys we've seen, man.
Do the Kings need to pick up one long wing at the trade deadline? Because right now all they have is Barnes.
Yeah, I mean, this team's been starved for forwards for a while. So let's see if they make a push here. I'm not really sure who's available that would fit in. I'd also love to see a stretch 5 at center. I'd love to see a guy like Mo.
Well, everybody's, the problem is everybody's looking for a stretch 5 and everybody's looking for a long wing.
Right. And it's funny with Miles Turner, he's been rumored for years and he's the prototypical stretch 5, but no one's made the move for him yet.
He's not going nowhere. He's going to stay with Indiana now, I believe.
Now that they're playing well?
Yeah, I think Indiana, keeps him now.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that too. I thought, that team, their regular season win total in Indiana was below 25. I mean, they're exceeding expectations, and they have to be happy about the way that team's developed. They might have got the steal in the draft there with Benny Matherin.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I like that kid.
Yeah, he can go for sure. He can go.
And I like that Ivy kid I watched last night. I didn't realize he was that fast. That kid can play.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's electric. Yeah, he's electric. He's electric. He was one of the best college players we've seen in the Big Ten, man. He stood out head and shoulders above everyone for his first step and his shot making ability.
Yeah, he can go.
Yeah, he definitely can go. All right, let's get to the present. We're gonna get some coaches' opinions on some of these games that we're looking at today. Which one's first up, Spread?
Well, let's just go straight to the meat and potatoes because these are two teams that I want to talk about. The Boston Celtics take on the Dallas Mavericks tonight, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on the overall teams. And then we'll break down the game here. But the Celtics, right, look to be the class of the NBA. Now they're on this rough road stretch. I kind of think that people are still overreacting. In my mind, this is still the best team in the NBA. Brooklyn's coming on in the East as well. Milwaukee yet to be fully healthy. I think that Boston matches up so well with Brooklyn. I think that's just a nightmare matchup for Brooklyn. How do you see the East playing out in general? What do you think of the Celtics in their current slump?
I think in the East, since we're talking playoffs matchups, I think in the East seeds matter a lot. The Brooklyn Nets do not want to play the Boston Celtics. The Brooklyn Nets want to play Milwaukee before they want to play Boston. Yeah. Boston right now, they're on a long road trip. They've hit a skid. I really don't know what their issue is other than maybe they just lost focus a little bit, but they do seem out of sync right now in defense. They're not guarding, and Brown's not guarding right now. And you watched OKC drop 150 on them the other night, and SGA didn't even play. Mm-hmm. Tonight I want to watch Boston tonight. They're in a dive. They're playing at Dallas. Let's see what they do tonight. Now, the one team Boston Celtics do not want to play. Now it's not in the East. It would be in the finals. They don't want no part of Denver. They can't do nothing with Joker.
Yeah,
Joker don't even see their defense.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna be a problem for the Warriors too. If the Warriors are able to get it together, get in the playoffs, simply for the fact we know that the Warriors give up more points to centers than anyone. Jalen Durant went off on them last night. I had his over 8.5. He had 18 because you can almost bet every night whichever center is playing against the Warriors, they're gonna go over their number.
Yeah, Warriors do let centers get their numbers, and they're good with it.
Yeah,
that's what they do with Aiden. That's what they do with even Joker. Their philosophy is let the centers get theirs. Let's hold everything else down.
Yeah. What do you think about the game tonight, Spread? What side are you leaning?
I like the Mavericks at home. I think this Mavericks team is so much better at home. It's almost like the Warriors. They're two teams in the West that take them at home and fade them on the road. What do you think of the Mavericks here tonight, Ricky?
One thing that I've always tried to stay away from or stay with, I'm a guy that likes streaks, whether it's losing or winning. I like to bet on teams that are on a winning streak, and I like to bet against teams who are on a losing streak. I don't like to buy into this narrative that, they must win tonight. They've lost 3 in a row. They've lost 2. That will get you in trouble. Especially in baseball. Baseball, I play streaks. I don't even play teams. When I see teams on a streak in baseball, I play them, and I ride with them. But tonight, right now I've stayed away from the NBA until the NFL is over because I like to stay one sport. Because I see, one of the things that I learned a long time ago is I've learned a scalping system. And if you follow me online, you know that I play a lot of futures and I scalp teams for value. And then when I get into the end, in the last couple of weeks in the NFL and in the playoffs, I'm looking for 3 to 4 teams that I have futures on with value, then I can hedge, trap, whatever I need to do. And I've had very good success with it the last couple of years. So, but if I got to play the Celtics Mavs game, I lay the 2.5.
Oh, you like the Celtics tonight, huh?
No, I'm sorry. I like the Dallas plus the 2.5.
Yeah,
My bad.
Dallas is plus 2.5 at home. Talk to me about Dallas overall as a team. How do you think this system can work with Luka? Do you think it's too much usage for him? Do you think it's gonna wear down? How do you see Dallas going? And then, of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Christian Wood. He seems to be a polarizing player, just in the NBA community as far as people assessing how much he brings to a team.
You know, first of all, I'm a guy that believes defense rebounding wins chips. Okay, so let me establish that right away. Dallas is an interesting situation because the playoffs are built for Luka. His game is built for the playoffs. Is he that 1% that can beat teams without a side piece and that high usage? And his defense isn't extreme. They can hide him, and he competes on defense, but he's not. See, I believe your best player has to compete on defense for your team to win games. If your best player don't compete, you're not winning games, especially when you're in the playoffs. Dude, Dallas, I don't know what to do with Dallas because Luka's that damn good. Do I think they can get out of the West? No. Do I think they need another piece? Yes. Now, what piece are they missing? I don't know. Because they got shooters around him. You want shooters around him. But do they need a backup point guard to give him less usage? That may happen. I don't know. But they're missing a piece. But Luka's that good to where they could win. Now, Wood, I think Wood's actually a fit for Dallas. Can he guard?
No.
See, that's what I see.
No.
See, wait a minute. Well, wait a minute. Let's take two teams here. Let's take Dallas and let's take Denver. Denver, when they're on the floor, they're going to have Joker and Porter and a Murray. Can they get stops? I don't know.
See, I don't think they're going to close with Porter, though. I think they close with Bruce Brown instead.
Or KCP. Or KCP. KCP plays both sides.
KCP's got to kind of close no matter what.
All right, now let's say you close with Brown, but let's say you're in a game now. Porter's in rhythm. Do you sit Porter?
You can't. That's the problem. Because he's a shot maker.
That's the problem. Porter puts a coach in a trap, just like the Warriors. Let's look at their trap. What do you do with Poole closing? Can you play him? Can you not play him? See,
both of those guys are too dynamic, coach. You got to let them play. You need those points.
But you got to get stops.
If you have a lead, you can pull them. If you're behind, you run with Poole and you run with Porter. That's my.
Now we're talking situational basketball. Offense for defense, defense for offense. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that's coaches.
Now we talked about the East, about seeds matter. In the West, I don't think seeds matter. Because here's what we're going to see this year. Now, I don't know the exact numbers because I haven't checked it recently, but before the bubble, since 1986, the best of 7 series in the NBA, the favorite wins about 75%. Right. Okay? That's only 25% underdog is going to win. This year in the West, you're going to have seeds that are going to be higher seeds. And when I say higher, a 6 seed, excuse me, a 7 seed or an 8 seed that might be a favorite in the West. So seeds don't really going to matter this year in the West because you're going to have a 2 and a 3 or a 4 seed. They're going to be underdogs.
Yeah.
And you can't ignore that 75-25%.
Right. I agree. And I'm a little bit of an expert on Christian Woods. You know how I'm a Rockets fan. Christian Woods is not that guy. Christian Wood, then the problem is he doesn't have a lot of dog in him. He'd rather go shoot step back 3-pointers. He doesn't want to defend, even though he has unbelievable length and wingspan. So that's what I don't like about him. So as a Rockets fan, I felt like the Dallas just, kind of took out our trash with that one because I didn't want him on the team because he was not helping the young guys develop at all. Just because he had a bad attitude and he wasn't the type of guy that you want, influencing your young guys. And so that's why I check mark against him. As far as him with Luka being able to do, we already heard what Kobe said about Harden when Harden was trying to do this because Kobe had tried to do it first before both of them as being the only guy and all this high usage and stuff, that's kind of why he ended up blowing his Achilles because he was trying to do it, and Harden showed you, and he was the best ever doing this. Everything that Luke was doing, he's a child of James Harden. We know what type of run Harden had. he was the only one, as you know, we talk about all the time, coach, about he was the only one that was threatening the Warriors when they had the most dominant team in the league, and he was doing it by himself. I don't think that Luka can do this by himself. They're going to have to rebuild the parts around him, but the main thing is he's going to have to change his approach to the game in order to be successful long term in the playoffs. It's good for numbers, but at the end of the day, I don't think that it's good for championships, as the great Kobe Bryant once said about the way that they were using the ISO ball with Harden. And as far as in tonight, I actually do like the Celtics, guys. I'm the non-NBA guy, so that's probably why I'm on that side. I like the Celtics, and the only reason why is because who was Dallas beat in their in their winning streak, excuse me. They beat a bunch of sorry teams. They beat Minnesota, they beat Houston, they beat the Lakers, they beat the Knicks, they beat Houston again. They beat Houston 3 times within this winning streak. They beat San Antonio. They haven't faced anyone, and I think the Celtics will be real motivated, and they clamp him down on defense, and that they send a lot of those great wings. We know that the Celtics are probably the best wing defensive team in the league. And I think they're going to give Luka some problems tonight.
I want to push back on the Harden Luka comparison a little bit. And I'm a big James Harden guy. And I tell Warrior fans all the time, he pushed the Warriors farther against the wall than anybody.
Right.
The difference between Harden and Luka, in my view, once Harden got to the cup, he was either a layup or a corner three pass, correct?
Right.
Layup, lob, or corner three pass.
When he lost his athleticism. At first, he was dunking it. He was dunking it when he got to the cup.
But his game was layup, lob, corner pass.
Yeah.
With Luka, once he gets to the cup, all the 4 players are open targets, because what he does a little better than Harden, he sees everybody.
Yeah, he does.
And that's what creates problems. Now, can you win that way? I don't know, but here's the problem. If you get away from Luka, you're going away from his strength. And I don't ever want to go away from your strength in anything we do. See, if you're going to beat me, beat me in my strength. Don't beat me because I'm trying to beat you at your weakness.
Right.
So that's my view. But I don't know. We'll find out. But the West, everybody's going to meet in the middle in the standing. It's a log jam. I got to be honest with you. In a 7-game series, I got to ride with Curry, Draymond, and Clay. They're going to be hard to beat in 7 games if they're healthy.
I like the Nuggets. I like the Nuggets in the West this year.
You know what? I won't push back. If they can get stops, they're a problem.
Yeah, I like the Nuggets.
I like that Bruce Brown pickup. I think that he helps that closing lineup so much. You let Porter get out there. He starts. He gets to hear his name at the beginning of the game, gets you a lead, and then you can close with the guys that can clamp. Because if you have Murray, of course, will be a weakness, but you need some offense out there. But you can give me KCP, Bruce Brown, and Aaron Gordon in the middle as your wing defenders. That's not
Gordon's so unsung. Gordon's having a great year, man, and nobody's even noticing. He's a really good glue guy for that team.
But Gordon, the only pushback I would say on Gordon, he can sometimes shoot you out.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true, because they give him that corner 3 whenever he wants it. Sometimes he makes it, sometimes he's not, but he doesn't stop shooting. That is correct.
Well, his weakness is Gordon believes, because he gets within, say, 2 to 3 feet of the rim, he believes you have to shoot it. You're not always open. That doesn't mean you have to shoot it. And that's where he gets. That's where he gets in trouble.
Right.
Coach, another team West I want to ask you about, and of course, 5-star. We'll talk about this too, because 5-star was down on Phoenix to start the year, right, for our preseason. A couple weeks in, he's saying, "Hey, maybe I'm wrong," right? But now I think this injury to Devin Booker, has really exposed their lack of offense. And I think that people are not understanding the lack of wing depth is really hurting them. Jay Crowder, I don't know what happened there, but he has yet to suit up for the team. And then they lost Cam Johnson, who was their idea of how to do this. Chris Paul, is he finally showing age? I mean, you're not supposed to be able to play NBA point guard at the age of 38. This is a young man's game. What he's doing is incredible. I'm not trying to take away from anything in his career. A lot of times, though, these guys go downhill fast. Do you think Phoenix can get it back in there, or do you think that 5-star's prediction at the beginning of the year that this little run for the team is over is going to end up being correct?
As of today, I would agree with 5-star, because I mean we're watching Phoenix. They can't score without Booker. Paul has been looking old for a while.
Yep.
They don't. I don't know what they're deal. Their deal with Jay Crowder is very interesting to me because, like you said, they need wings. Why haven't they made a call and bridge that gap and bring him back and let him play? I don't understand it. And then they turned down a couple good packages in trades for him. So I'm not sure what they're doing. But I expect Phoenix to be a big player in the trade deadline. Now, who, where, what, I have no idea. But I expect them to be a big player. If they're not a big player, I don't know. Unless Booker's Superman, I don't know. I don't see him.
Yeah,
What do you think? Are you ready to? I mean, that Phoenix take's looking pretty good. I know they started hot 5-star, but what did you see?
I'm loving my under tickets. You know, I got under 55. Was it under?
No,
53?
wait. You could take that to the pawn shop. He'll give you money for it. You're good.
Yeah,
You cash that ticket.
Yeah, I think that one's good right there. But hey, guys, the two teams I like the most out the West are actually facing each other tonight. That's the Clippers and Nuggets. When the Clippers are full strength, and we know how my guy, you know, that's my boy Ty Lue. That's the homie, man. When they're right, they got to be a factor in the West, man. When they're right.
When they're healthy, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
The only here's what I'm not sure of yet. Kawhi. I'm not sure. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Let's break Kawhi's game down today. What RIC today?
Right.
Can he get his own shot off the bounce when he's face up, or does he have to have his back to the basket?
Kyrie Leonard is playing a lot of bluff. I think he's got to the point now where he's understood that the playoffs is what the NBA is about. So he's kind of a guy who's coasting through the regular season now, just trying to stay healthy.
How long have we been drinking this Kool-Aid?
well, he was really injured, and we know how his cap is. You know, his uncle's not going for it. If they don't want to play, he's not playing. You know, that's what he got one of the strongest teams in the NBA. We know about Kawhi Leonard's team. He's quietly a powerful guy.
Now you say you like Ty Lue, and I do too. But if we watch the Clipper fan base on Twitter, what do you think about Ty Lue? Is love for these guard play instead of the wings in closing?
Yeah, that is true. He loves his guards because he's a former guard himself. But we've seen before in the past with his performances in the postseason, when he was with Cleveland, but he did have LeBron, so we're not going to act like that doesn't make a difference. But a lot of the stuff that he implemented in regular season that the fans disliked in Cleveland ended up being a benefit for them when the playoffs start. And I think that's a lot what he's doing now. He's trying to get as much play as he can from the others right now so that he can build their confidence up so that they're ready when the playoffs start because he know he has his big two regardless.
Okay, so let's play a little game here between the three of us. We got to lay $2,000 on somebody in the West. Who we laying it on? Who are you two guys laying 2K on right now to come out of the West?
I'm on the Nuggets.
I'm on Golden State still.
See, my problem. See, the one team that I don't want Golden State to play is Clippers. If Clippers are healthy, but if I have to lay down a wrapper of 2K, I stay with Golden State.
Yeah,
but I don't want to play. But I don't want to play the Clippers.
One thing about the Clippers, I don't know what John Wall's doing out there, man. I don't even think he should be in the rotation. And I think this is going to lead you to one of your favorite things, right? Right, Coach? Small guards. They're great for the regular season, but I mean,
no. We got to understand. I've tweeted this a million times. The NBA has three seasons in one season. Has the regular season, has the playoffs, and has the last 4 teams standing. And when you get to the last 4 teams standing, small guards get you beat.
Yeah, and that's why I don't even know why he's trying to make John Wall a thing right now. If you don't have the wings, I can understand, but I would rather see guys like Covington out there. I think Terrence Mann's doing a better job than him this year. I even like Norm Powell a little more at this point of their careers. I wrote about it today. I said, well, if I bet against the Clippers, I want to see John Wall get as many minutes as I can because, hey, he's great and he's got great highlights. I don't know how much he helps you win.
What's his shooting numbers? They were pretty bad a couple of weeks ago. I haven't looked at him recently.
Yeah, I haven't looked recently either, but every time I watch, if I'm on the Clippers, I want him on the bench. If I'm against the Clippers, I want him in the game.
I think Norman Powell's the key to the Clippers, though, because he can get buckets, but he can also shoot you out too.
Right.
Yeah, for some reason Ty Lue doesn't play him a lot, but a team that we're really forgetting about in the West is Memphis. What do you guys think about the kids?
Man, Memphis is an interesting team to me because I think on paper, 1 through 12, they might be the best roster in the West. I mean, what are they missing other than maybe a couple dance steps? I mean, they got Ja, they got Jackson, they got a big, they got depth, they got
Bane is
wings.
unbelievable. Bane is
I
so
mean,
nice.
if
Yeah,
if they would stop trying to be cool and stop trying to be butter and be still, they could be a problem for everybody. But they're
that's
too busy.
job.
They're
That's
too
job,
busy.
man. He's the
Yeah,
leader. Yeah.
they're too busy trying to be butter, and butter melts.
Yep. Yep. That's right. Ja, that's Ja, man. He's a young guy, and he's the leader of that team, and they're following him. And
But
unfortunately, the way he's leading them is it's the wrong way. Like you said, it's butter.
but 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 the matchup, the series that I want of all the series, East and West, I want the Pelicans and the Grizzlies in 7-game series.
Yeah.
If I'm the Pelicans, that's the matchup I don't want.
Exactly.
No, they don't want
But
to see the Grizzlies.
but we're back to Zion again. Is he going to be available?
Well, did you see what the Pelicans did to Zion? I mean, the Grizzlies did to Zion last time. They put Dylan Brooks. They
I
make
sure
him
did.
go
Yep.
left, and then they run him into two bigs because Dylan
Yep.
Brooks is big enough to play him on the perimeter, and he doesn't. He'll funnel him straight to either Jackson or Adams,
Yep.
right?
Beautiful.
And then they made Zion look ordinary.
Well,
Taylor
Zion's,
Jenkins, man.
Try to do it the next night, and the Pelicans blow him out of the water.
right? Zion's got to get a 12 to 15 footer, or he's going to have troubles in certain matchups in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, that's definitely it's coming though. I could see him being able to develop it because his free throw shot looks good enough where he'll be all right from the elbow. He just has to put in the whole offseason of doing it. But the thing about the Grizzlies, man, when they look right, they look better than any team in the West when they're right. That's the thing. They get
100%.
more. Yeah, when they're right, they look the best. They have the most blowout victories. They have the most dominant performances when they're playing and hitting it all cylinders. Their problem is, and this goes back to Ja, he has to learn to practice some humility. If he practices a little humility to, go over to his team, but he's, all gas, no brakes, I'm arrogant, I'm thugging, and that's not the type of, temperament that you want going into the playoffs against these veteran teams because only thing it does, like it, Clay, look how the Warriors love to play the Grizzlies because they love to shut them up. It motivates them.
But the issue for Memphis though is as great as Ja is, their most important player is Jaren Jackson. He's got to stay on the floor, and he's the one
Yeah.
that creates problems for everybody. See, Ja gives the Warriors issues with his speed, but it's Jaren Jackson. But he didn't play last game because he was in foul trouble. But when he's on the floor, his length, his rim protection, his three ball, he's a monster.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
He's
I like
had
that
problems
team a
with
lot.
foul trouble his whole career, and we said he's a young big, and he's got to take time to learn the game. It's been a little while now, and if that issue and teams know it. So if I'm Steve Kerr going into this, that's going to be my first priority, right? In a series,
Well,
I need to
sure.
limit his minutes. I'm going right at him. So, Grizzlies, I think they have a veteran leadership issue. You talked about John Morant being the leader, and I think that also Dylan Brooks, kind of a hothead as well. I do like Dylan Brooks as a player. I think he's worth the money. I think you got to re-sign him if you're the Grizzlies. But I wish they had a more calming veteran presence. Right?
That's all that they're missing. That's exact. They need a backup point guard. If they had Mike Conley still, just imagine how good that team would be. Because he would be perfect for that team to settle down, Ja, and get those guys right.
Memphis needs a vet in that locker room.
Yep. Yeah, that's no doubt.
I got to ask two more teams because I love the coach's breakdown. So
okay, go ahead.
2 more Western Conference teams I got to hear his thoughts on. First one is the Portland Trailblazers. This is a really interesting team for me. I thought they did a great job in the offseason addressing their defensive deficiencies there on the wing. Simons is a kid. I mean, what a move, right? That's addition by subtraction. You trade CJ just to give Simons more usage. I just wonder can they keep up with the big guns in the West in this current iteration of the team, or are they just kind of, second round or bust? What do you think of the Blazers?
I think they're back to. Well, first of all, I agree with Simons. I'm a big fan of Simons. The problem with Portland is Dame. Is he going to guard anybody?
Mm-hmm.
See, my problem with Dame, and I tweeted about this the other day in the NBA. The NBA is the best athletes in the world. We got the best shot makers in the world today. But why can't our best athletes and our best shot makers in the world compete on defense? And if Dame's not going to compete on defense, they're not going to win because Simons can't guard either. Then you got to play Peyton. Now you're playing 3 guards. Can those 3 guards play in the last 4 teams standing or the last 8 teams standing? I don't know. I don't see it.
All right.
Is Peyton going to play this year? Has he played at all?
Yeah, he played 1 game and then he missed the last game due to an ankle. But now that's another thing. As good as Peyton is, he was a perfect fit for the Warriors. Does he fit Portland yet? I don't know. I got to see it. Where's he going to play? Is he going to play in the dunker spot? Is he going to play out top? What are they going to do with him?
Yeah, that's an interesting question for Chauncey Billups. But they finally gave Billups the pieces. I think they can figure some things out there with Portland.
I don't think they're a real threat. I think that they're just – it's only a matter of time before that team ends up being a young team and they restart and put it around Simon. I think Lillard's gone within the next couple of years, man, even though we know he's a lifer and wants to be there. I just think that his time there is about to play out pretty soon.
All right, let's do this again. $2,000. Who finishes higher, Kings or Portland?
Kings.
Really? I've probably been burned too many times. I would think Portland.
Kings got the better roster, man.
I think Kings.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Kings.
Well, here, love to hear it. I'm glad to be wrong on this one. Why do you think we could do better? I just feel that
better roster. I think you got a better roster.
Yeah, better roster, man. Portland is just Dame shooting these circus shots, man. You know, like what people don't understand is the Steph Curry. It's a method behind his madness. What he does is opening up the court for everybody. We know what type of passer he is compared to the type of passer Dame is. Dame can pass, but he's not a high IQ passer like Steph Curry is, where when he's shooting these long range threes, just opening up the court for everything, man. This guy, Lillard, I don't know, man. I just feel like he shoots a lot of bad shots. You know, he takes a lot of bad shots because he has the green light.
And let's give Steph some praise real quick. So Steph, first of all, I think that he's so underrated just on his focus of basketball. Because if you go watch kids play now, they don't want to be LeBron. They want to be Steph, right? So let's give him credit there for just the way he's changed the game. And here's the other thing. These players, they all want to copy Steph. But what part of Steph's game are they copying? The part where he shoots from 30, 35 feet behind the arc.
Not all of the other stuff.
They're not copying his movement without the ball, right? I don't see Trey running his man through 2 screens. I don't see Dame doing things like that either. And it's so funny.
They're standing in the corner clapping.
Yeah, they picked up the glamorous part, but they didn't want to pick up the hard work.
Yeah.
Well, let's go a couple steps farther with Steph. Why does Steph have 4 chips? Very simple. He's willing to play without the ball, and he can be effective. Steph makes everybody better because he will play without the ball. Most of our point guards, Ja, Dame, I can go all the way down the list. They can't play without the ball.
They cannot play without the ball. He's just as good off because he started as a 2 guard. At Davidson, all he did was run off screens, and he continued that when he's off the ball. You know, he's one of the guys who has the most sound coaching we've seen coming into the NBA.
Wait a minute.
His dad, Davidson.
That's right.
You know?
No, let's jump in. I've been watching and coaching against Steph and Dale since he was 10 years old. Dale had we went over this last night on Spaces and got in a little heated argument because a lot of people want Steph to play on ball versus off ball. No. The Currys want to play off ball. Steph don't want 10 eyes on him. Taff wants to go set a screen, read the defense. He don't want the defense reading him. His off ball has been taught from Charlotte Stars to Davidson and now read and react to the Warriors. That's Steph Curry. But the rest of the guys don't want to do that. They want to dance with the ball and show you what they can do with the ball.
Yep. His fundamentals, too, is absolutely ridiculous. They don't understand all the work that Curry's put in, man. His dribbling and ball handling is so much better from when he was in college. He just puts in the work. And like you say, everybody looks good, the results, but no one wants to, do the small stuff, the work that he puts in.
DNA matters.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. And he has some good DNA.
Coach, one more team I got to get your thoughts on. A team that's been disappointed to me this season. I really thought that the addition of Gobert, this Timberwolves team, maybe not a playoff team. I thought they were in line to have a great regular season. It looks to be a disaster there. What have you seen with the Timberwolves on the court? Because right now, this team looks better when Nas Reed's playing the 5 and Gobert's on the bench.
Here's what I'm going to say about Minnesota. And I hate to go after coaches' jobs because that's not something I want to do. When they made that trade, they got the wrong coach for that philosophy. What they should have done is went and got Vogel. Vogel's basketball defense philosophy is built on 2 bigs. If you go back from Indiana and to the Lakers, I think the philosophy, whatever it is, doesn't fit Gobert and Towns. Now, is that a bad trade? Well, yeah, they gave up way too much. But do I believe Gobert just fell off a cliff after he left Utah? No. I think it's philosophy. See, I think somebody who has the right defense philosophy that knows how to defend schemes with bigs is the issue for them. I'm not sure that coach fits their philosophy of their roster.
That's a good point. Finch came up under Nick Nurse, right? And they're running what do they call it on NBA Twitter? Project 6-9, where every single player is a wing.
Exactly. Yeah. See what I think what Minnesota tried to do was still have the athletic wings with the 2 bigs. So they got a defensive coach that came from Nurse's tree, exactly what you just said. I think that's the wrong philosophy. They need Vogel or a guy like Vogel who has a defense philosophy with 2 bigs.
All right. Yeah. And that was disappointing. I thought that was going to be a good idea. But so far, disappointing there for Minnesota. And the other thing is, I don't know if Anthony Edwards took the leap that I expected. And it's still there. Sometimes these guys come in the league so young, right?
He's a baby, man. He's a baby.
Yeah, I think he's an
alpha, though. They got to get him and Cat out of the locker room together. They got to get a locker room to Ant-Man. If they do that, they got a brighter future. It's time to move off of Towns, I think, and keep Gobert.
I was just going there. See, I would move off of Towns.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
Where does he fit though? I want.
Well,
he'd probably go to the Lakers.
Well, where does he fit? That's that's an interesting question. He's going to fit where coach don't hold you accountable if you don't guard.
It's the Sabonis issue though, because he's a 4 on defense, but he's a 5 on offense.
Well, what he is he's a lap dog and not a yard dog.
Exactly.
That too.
Exactly. Because you notice when he was in college, you know why no one knew he had all those skills? Because his coach wouldn't let him show him. He made him get his butt down in the paint and play dirty, So he's going to need a coach to get him back on, you got to balance it, man. The same problem I got with Christian Wood. You can't be 7 foot, man, and you're sitting out there all day launching these threes because it develops a softness about you, man. You got to be used to contact when you're that big because they're going to need you on defense, man. You're 7 foot.
Well, before we switch off, let's go one more team. Since we're talking yard dog and lap dog, let's go to Philadelphia with Embiid.
Two lap dogs.
Well, here's the problem with me with Embiid. If he would be a damn yard dog and just go on the block and drag people, he would shoot 20 free throws a game. He would probably average 35 to 40, and he would slow the game down, and you would have to play against a set defense every possession. But instead, he wants to be James Harden on the perimeter.
Yeah, he wants to show off his skills.
Yep. And he don't have the condition. And it's so funny to me that the Philly fans give him a pass. And I understand, yes, you can criticize some of Doc Rivers' coaching. But first of all, 28 of these fan bases want their coaches removed, no matter what they do. Everyone that watches the game thinks they can coach NBA basketball. Like it's 2K, like these players are just going to do whatever you say. And there's not an element of personality management that goes into coaching and not just running the right plays. But Embiid, to me, he gets such a pass from that fan base, and I'm just so surprised. No matter what, because he puts up 30 in the first quarter, first 3 quarters, he kind of disappears in the fourth, but it's always someone else's fault why they lose.
Yeah, to me, I don't understand their philosophy with Embiid, but I think Doc, if we're being honest, and we were in the back room and we heard the backstories, I think they're trying to get him in a block, and Embiid says, I'll shoot the 3 and dance with it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's just, it's one of those things where I mean, they constantly put guys in there, and they just constantly make excuses for him. I don't see why he doesn't get down low. I wonder how that team's going to go in the playoffs. It just seems like these Eastern Conference teams keep getting better, and I don't know if they did. I don't know how much of a fit Maxey and Harden are together. It seems like they kind of overlap as far as their skill sets, what they bring to the team. And then you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they might have leapfrogged Philadelphia.
Well, let's do this. Let's do this game again. 2K, Brooklyn or Philly?
Brooklyn. I think that one's
Brooklyn.
easy.
Can Brooklyn guard? Can Brooklyn guard Embiid?
I think they could absorb a 35-point from them.
They can just take away everybody else. Everybody else, and let Kyrie and KD be special. And also I love the way that the Nets coach runs the shit is running things over there. He's a really good coach, man. He was really doing a lot of the coaching when Nash was there. A lot of people don't know that.
Well, I told him during the bubble to hire him. I sent out a tweet, hire Vaughn in the bubble.
Yeah,
he's deserved.
But the Nets issue for me is, can they rebound in the last 4 teams standing?
That's where Claxton's got to be huge, but he's looked to the part so far this year. I think that comes down to if Claxton continue to develop.
And KD goes and grabs 10, 11 boards in the playoffs when it matters, always.
Well, that's what they got to do. See, the only question I have with the Nets, can they rebound?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question. I think they can get stops, though, with this team, except for a guy like Embiid, a big center. But I think they match up on the wing against the normal perimeter players.
Their only problem is Boston. They don't match up with Tatum and Brown. And the player that hurts them is Smart. Smart gets 2 feet in the paint too easy on them.
Yeah.
Yep, he does.
Yep. Who do you like better on your 2K question, Coach? Cleveland or Milwaukee?
Milwaukee. Yeah. Only because of Giannis. See, I don't trust Donovan Mitchell's got to show me he can be efficient in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he can have a couple games where he's 6 for 24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and Cleveland's again. We're going back to the small guards. They're going to play 2 of them. Is that going to work see? Cleveland don't want to play Boston in the playoffs either because their 2 small guards can't match up with Brown and Tatum.
Yeah,
they're going to catch them on the switch and they're going to pin them down and it's going to be layup after layup.
Oh, they're going to hunt them. They're going to hunt them. Yeah, and then Garland and Mitch are going to have to take 25 to 30 footers because of Boston's length.
That's a great point.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, we talked enough hoops today. Let's get to this NFL spread. We got to get these picks out to people.
All right, we're going to go over each one of these games. Let me pull this back up. We had it on the other one, not this one. First one, Saturday in your hometown, the Chiefs are taking on Las Vegas. Jared Stidham covers the spread against the Niners. Looks real good for Raiders fans. Can he do it against Kansas City? I like taking the points here. What do you think, 5-star?
Hey, man, I'll be all on the Raiders on this one. I actually gave it out on ESPN 97.5 this morning. As you guys know, Patrick Mahomes is phenomenal. He hasn't lost a game in the division on the road. He's 14-0. The only quarterback who's done better than that is Joe Montana, went 20-0 back when he was in the NFC West back in the 80s. Mahomes is unbelievable. In the betting world, we know that the Chiefs are one of the worst teams against the spread the last 2 seasons in football. Man, they're 1-7-1 against the spread in their last 9, whereas in the Raiders have been covering all year. They only had 1 bad game actually, and that was at the Saints. Besides that, all 15 games they played, they've been in the games in the fourth quarter, and they've actually had the lead in a lot of them. I think this is another audition for Jared Stidham. He's trying to, show the Raiders and other NFL teams that he can be a starter. So I think that he wants to show them it's not a fluke. We got Devontae Adams has already stated to the press that he's coming back next year and he would like to help in their, decision at quarterback. And he's committed to that franchise, so I expect a big final game from him. You got Darren Waller's back, Hunter Renfrow, and I just like how Josh McDaniels runs that offense. He can put up points. We don't have to worry about the Raiders scoring points. So I think that they'll be real motivated. The Chiefs are their rival. We're going to be in Vegas. The Allegiant Stadium's going to be rocking. So I think we'll get a good showing in the last game by the Vegas Raiders, and they continue the trend of covering while the Chiefs continue their trend of winning the games but not covering. So I'm going to definitely be on the Raiders plus 9.5.
Coach, what do you think of the Raiders and the Chiefs?
Well, first of all, I got to take a step back. Here's the problem that I'm having this week with the NFL. We got a situation that happened Monday night that we as NFL fans, NFL players, we've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And we actually saw. We know football's violent. We know football's a dangerous game, but we never had a face put on it. We now have a face put on it, and the fact that we have a face put on it, I don't know how players are going to react this week. I really don't know where their head's at. Now I know Cincinnati and Buffalo's really affected by it, but I'm a little cautious. Where's everybody else at? Now let's go back to the game you just talked about. It sounds like what they're going to do is they're not going to play the Bills and Bengals game again, so they're going to go by the winning percentage. So now if they do that, this Chiefs Raiders game becomes large.
Huge.
It's huge. So to me, I don't know how much plays I'm making this weekend because I don't know where everybody's head is at.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous, but if you put a gun to my head, I'm going to take the 8.5 and take the points and just hope that Mahomes doesn't, go off on him. But I'm just concerned with the whole NFL because they're not playing a Thursday night game. It's just, I just don't know where everybody's head's at because they now have a face. And I think a lot of NFL players took a step back and said, wait a minute, maybe we need to reevaluate this.
Yeah. And we know the business of the NFL. The NFL, first and foremost, as we've seen in all types of lawsuits and everything, is an entertainment company. It's not competitive sports. It's about, putting a good product on the TV. And I think that they're going to make sure that they put a good product on there with this first game that's going to be a Saturday game, which is the Chiefs and the Raiders. They're going to want to put a nice, entertaining game on to get the people's minds off of the tragic events that happened on Monday night, I think, Coach.
That's fair, but what about the players' minds? I want to know where their mind is.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a good question. I traditionally this last week we always go light, and if I start talking, and I've talked before the show, how many games is it only one team that technically has something to play for, right? But I think that we overrate that too much. These guys are competitive. They want to win a game of ping pong. They want to win in checkers. So they're not going to just go out and say, "Oh, we're eliminated from the playoffs. So I'm going to let my man score on me."
That's very true. That's very true what you just said. But let's look at a number here. What was the Vikings-Bears opening line?
I don't know what it opened at.
I could tell you right now, Doc. It says 7.5 now. It opened. I see. It looked like it opened at 1.
That is correct. That is correct. So we got to be very careful between today and Sunday. Who's going to sit and who's going to play? See, coaches are walking up to play. See, that's the problem because Fields not playing this week. See,
because he's for the future. Yeah, for the future, they got to put him up because he's not all the way healthy. Yeah.
Exactly. So we got to, when you start playing week 18, you start putting cash down. You better stay on top of the news because you might be walking into a trap.
Yeah, and I see my angle on the Raiders game. The reason why I'm so strong on that game is one that I definitely like is the Raiders have something to play for, and it's pride. They do not after Josh McDaniels coming back this year, and they went to the playoffs last year. The best thing he could do is try to win this game and beat Kansas City for the last game of the year to get some positive momentum going this year. And then you also have Jarrett Stidham, who is really trying to show people that he's an NFL quarterback. So I think the motivation will be there for the Raiders, and we know it's going to be there for the Chiefs with them, trying to get first place. But how many teams have the Chiefs blew out this year? Even when I took them a couple of weeks ago against Seattle and they covered for the first time in the last 7 games, it wasn't a dominant performance. Seattle could have easily backdoored and covered that game.
Are the Chiefs really what their record says they are?
You are what your record is. That's what Bill Parcells says.
Chiefs. I'm high on the
Chiefs. I like the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs, Bengals,
really?
And Bills. Chiefs, Bengals, and Bills are a different tier than everybody.
Hold on a second. How much do you like the Chiefs if they play Cincinnati Bengals?
Oh, well, I got a plus 900 ticket on the Bengals to win the AFC. So
I do too.
I'm on the Bengals. You know that.
Wait a minute. Well, hold on a second. You're talking to the guy who called the Bengals in the Super Bowl last year before the playoffs started.
That's right.
I made a fortune last year in the playoffs with the Niners and the Bengals. But
we were right with you.
That's right. And I'm holding Bengals this year too. I'm holding the Bills. I'm holding Minnesota. I'm holding the Niners. I'm holding. There's one more. I'm missing somebody. But I got about 5 nice little futures I'm holding. But I'm telling you right now, here's what I like about the Bengals. They might get screwed on the winning percentage of what seed they are. You walk in the locker room and tell the Bengals I got to go to Kansas City. They look at you and say, I don't care. Let's go.
They don't give a damn.
They don't care.
Yeah, because they got the right quarterback. Joe Burrow has a lot of heart. He doesn't bar any, man, and that's why.
I didn't mean to take you off your list, but anyways, continue on.
No, I was just saying I believe that like you were saying, you mentioned the Bengals. Why don't we get to that game right there, Spread, the Bengals and the Ravens?
See, I'm not touching that game because I don't know where the Bengals' head is. The Bengals might be still emotional from Monday night. I'm not touching it.
Yeah, it's very well could. What's the breakdown on that one, Spread?
Yeah. 7. Right now, Bengals at home -7. Coach brings up the good thing though, right? That's the X factor. How do they approach this? How does their week of preparation look? I mean, this is probably not a normal week. Probably good for them to get out on the field and experience a normal game for the preparation moving forward. And I'm trying to think. There was an interesting scenario with the Ravens where they would have been locked in. The way it worked out now, if the Bengals would have lost, the Ravens would have had a chance. Now the Ravens still have a chance for the title of the AFC North. Interesting spot here. I don't trust this Ravens offense. I mean, Lamar's not playing this week, is he?
No, he's not. So. He's never going to play for Baltimore again.
That ain't true. They got him. They're gonna franchise tag him unless somebody gives them a boatload of players and picks. They got him trapped.
Atlanta is. He's going to the Falcons.
The Ravens got Lamar for 2 more years unless somebody just gives them the franchise.
I think the Falcons or Miami makes them offer they can't refuse because both of those teams are heavy on them. And for what we're seeing, I don't think that Lamar's too thrilled with Baltimore right now. I don't think he's too thrilled with them.
Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. They got him trapped. They got him under cost control. They're not going to give that up.
He's on a rookie deal.
Plus, and they got 2 years. They can franchise him.
Yeah, they got 2 years. They can franchise. I think a team.
And then they'll get rid of him. They'll franchise him 2 years of moving.
Don't be surprised if he sits out and doesn't play.
Well, that's a lot of bread. If he wants to give that up, more power to him.
Yeah, he has a different type of team situation with his mom and himself are the ones they don't have an agent.
That's part of the problem.
Yeah, they don't have an agent. So
I don't know why players do that, and a lot of players are doing that now. If we had multi-million-dollar business deals, we're not going to have our family come in and negotiate our business deals. We're going to get somebody who knows the business. I don't understand why people do that.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But on the football side on this game, I will still lay the 7 with the Bengals, just simply because what you said, Spread, about the offense struggling. I do think the Bengals respond well.
The game matters to them. The game matters for the Bengals.
They're the best team against the spread in the last 2 seasons in the NFL. They're 5-1 against the spread this year at home, 9-1 in the last 10, 12-3 overall against the spread. As you saw, both of you, before that incident happened, unfortunately for DeMar Hamlin, the Bengals were looking really good that game. They looked like they were on their way to a 14-3 lead in the first quarter. I had all types of first quarter bets on them and first half bets on them, but it doesn't even matter because it's more important about their kid. But I think that the Bengals are firing in all cylinders. And I from what I hear in the presser, the Burrow is talking to the team and saying that a couple of the guys didn't want to play, but overall he wants to play. And they're going to follow with his lead on things. I think that they have enough juice to win this game. And I think that they try to make a statement and have some good energy going into the playoffs because they won't be the number 1 seed, unfortunately, with what happened with the Bills game. So they want to have some good energy going into next week playing.
All right. 5-star, talk to me about the Titans and the Jaguars.
Jaguars, man. I'm on Jacksonville.
Are you still laying it?
Yeah, I'm laying 6 all day. Look, Mike Vrabel is one of the sharpest coaches. I got so much respect for him, but he does not have the weapons needed to go into this battle. Josh Dobbs is a nice kid. He's brilliant, a nuclear engineer major, and all these things. When he was in Knoxville, just a good kid, but he isn't an NFL caliber quarterback. And right now, that offense and defense for Jacksonville is hitting it all cylinders, man. The defense has only given up 6 points the last 2 weeks. And then you have Trevor Lawrence finally, reaching the potential that we knew he had. And, we got my guy from Monroe, Louisiana, Doug Peterson, calling those great calls. He has a full grasp of that offense, and he has those guys clicking. They got different ways they can beat you with Jacksonville. 1 week is Ingram. 1 week, it's the running game. The next week is one of the receivers. So they're really deep and versatile offense, man. And most of all, I like how their defense is playing. They're going to be at home. I think we're going to hear a lot of Duval in the crowd. I think they're going to have a party in Jacksonville with Tennessee. I don't think this game is going to be close, actually. I do respect Mike Vrabel, but who is Tennessee beating this year that was a good team? None. They haven't had any good victories this year. So I think that this is a landslide win for Jacksonville. Actually, I love to land the -6.
I played this game. I played this game -6, and if you're going to play Jacksonville, you better play it today. It's going to go to 7.
Yep, I agree too,
So
Coach.
those are the 2 Saturday games. Jets -1 at Dolphins. Skylar Thompson's in there. This is why I really rely on you because you watch college. Right. And we've seen a little bit of Skylar Thompson there in the NFL. Jets officially eliminated with the loss in Seattle last week, right? So the Dolphins technically need the game. Jets don't. I don't think that matters. I think you handicap this one like a normal game. I expect full effort from this Jets team. They've still had a good season. I thought they might go like 2-15, right? So they've exceeded expectations, and I think they want to build some momentum next year against a rivalry. I throw the motivation out the window and just cap it like a normal game. Who do you like here, 5-star?
It's going to be a tough one, man. Skylar Thompson is a decent quarterback. He was good at Kansas State, right a little bit below Brock Purdy's level as far as him being an efficient passer, being able to protect the ball. It's just I don't know if the Jets rally for this game, knowing that this is the last game of the year. They've lost now 5 in a row. Mike White can't play this bad again, right? As he played last week. So me personally, it's a stay away from me. But if I leaned anyway, I actually lean the Jets on this one because I think that defense has the potential to actually control this entire game, and I think that they can run the ball. They didn't look good at all last week, so just because of that alone, I think that they'll be really motivated this week to end the year on a good note.
Coach, how do you see this one?
I have a hard time putting cash on backup quarterbacks, especially when I got both teams. It's a pass for me. I let it go.
Yeah, and I could see that too. I think we'll get full effort from the Jets. Will it be enough? Not necessarily sure. This one should be fun. The Browns are in Pittsburgh taking on the Steelers. I'm rooting for the Steelers here. I'm a big fan of Mike Tomlin as a coach. I'm worried about this one, man. When I first saw this on the schedule, I said, the Steelers can do it. They can finish 9-8, protect that streak that Tomlin's going, never having to lose a season. This Brown team seemed to have found something last week, and maybe Deshaun Watson finally getting back used to the speed of this NFL game. I don't think this is a layup for the Steelers like I initially thought when I first saw this game on the schedule. What do you think, Five-Star?
Yeah, this is not going to be a layup at all. I think that the Browns are aware of Tomlin's record, and they're going to be doing everything they can to stand in between him, continuing his 15-year streak of never having to lose a season. Both these teams are playing pretty good right now. Besides Cleveland's bad performance against the Saints, which was more weather related, they've been playing good. You finally starting to see Deshaun Watson get his groove back. I'm very interested to see what they do next year. But more than anything, what I've taken over the last couple of weeks is one, Kenny Pickett can play. They picked the right quarterback. He's way more pro ready than Malik Willis is. Malik Willis is going to need to be completely retooled and taught how to play the passing game in the NFL because, as you know, he was a one-read quarterback at Liberty, and whereas Pickett was running the full pro offense at Pitt. So a great job by Tomlin and the Steelers organization by making the right pick on that one. Cleveland, they have their quarterback in place. But now my question is, after seeing that Saints performance, how does Watson perform in the coming years in this weather? We know that the AFC North is going to be bad weather during the games that matter the most. The rest of his career, he comes from Georgia. He went to Clemson, played in the South Carolina. Then he went to Houston and played in the Dome. I don't think that he was really thinking. I'm sure he was just trying to get that guaranteed money, but I don't think he was factoring in how bad the weather is in the AFC North. And he's not a good outdoors, bad weather quarterback, man. So I'm not going to play this game. It's going to be too difficult to pick. But those are the two things that I take most from it, is that Kenny Pickett is the guy in Pittsburgh, and they got a bright future with him. And that how's Deshaun Watson going to play in these late December and January games when it matters most in Cleveland, when he's not a good outdoors quarterback?
Coach, you got thoughts on this one?
Right today I'm not playing the game, but if I did play the game, I would wait till the last minute, hope it goes to 3, and I would play Cleveland on the money line.
Yeah, that's smart.
I'm rooting for Tomlin. I think this could be a tricky game for him. A team that kind of plays in a similar fashion. If Cleveland can start running the ball, neutralize that pass rush, I could see them giving the Steelers some problems. So I'll be rooting for Pittsburgh in that one. I think I'm with you. I'm going to stay off that one most likely and just be a fan. The Patriots are +7. Going on the Bills, and of course we talked about the situation Monday night and how that affects the teams. This is the game where it affects them the most, right? I mean, the Bengals, of course, being out there, but this was their teammate. It have to be. Distracted is maybe not the right word, but I don't know if they're fully focused on football. Probably a lot of evaluation, self-reflection going on in that locker room. How do you think the Bills respond 5-star? And are you going to lay the points here?
On this game, for me, it's Buffalo or pass. I don't like anything about the Patriots offense or Mac Jones. I think with the good news about Hamlin opening his eyes, and hopefully by the weekend we'll have even better news with him. If he continues to get better, I think that gives them a rallying cry. If anything, and they come out motivated. We get the snowballs going in the stadium. We know how the Bills Mafia is, and if they could just, do it all for him for 2-3 hours, and use that emotion to energize the team and the stadium, they're gonna blow out New England, because New England isn't that good this year. We know that they're not the New England of the past that we've seen. They are young at some key positions, and I don't really think Mac Jones is that guy, and he's not helping at all with his attitude, and he's becoming like the dirtiest player in the league. He's getting that same little Grayson Allen area as being a dirty player, man. And so people are looking to put him on his back every time they can after they see him film the little dirty stuff that he's doing. So I just don't trust him. I don't trust the receivers for the Patriots to make plays against this Buffalo defense. And I think that Josh Allen is going to be upset. I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo starts slow early, but I think as they get more into the game and get focused, that crowd gets going, that they can run off on New England. So it's Buffalo -7 for me on that.
I agree with you on Mac Jones, and I wanted to ask Coach about him, because it's one thing to miss on a first-round pick, but I think where the real mistake is refusing to admit it. We're going to see that in New York with Zach Wilson, because I think they're going to go down the same road. But I think if you're New England, you got to look and you say, hey, we got a guy that can be a fine backup QB, but he's never going to help us compete in this division. What do you think of New England Patriots, Mac Jones, and what's going on in this game, Coach?
Well, first of all, I'm concerned about Buffalo's preparation this week. Now, I do understand it's a division game, so they know them, but there's no way I'm backing anybody Buffalo in this game. I just can't imagine. As a man who had a major heart attack about 35 days ago, I can't imagine what they're going through mind-wise to stand there and see it. I was the victim, and it was trauma for me, having the trauma team standing over me. I just don't understand how they get through this. So it's a total pass for me. Now, as far as Mac Jones, I'm not going to get in. First of all, I'm not a football guy. I'm a casual football guy, and quarterbacks are pretty tough to evaluate. But I think Mac Jones, how can we even evaluate this kid without having an offensive coordinator?
That's
I mean,
Great point. Great point.
I mean, let's hold off on him. Zach Wilson with the Jets. I don't know. I don't know what they do with him. I have a different opinion on Zach Wilson. I just think the NFL is a culture shock. He came from BYU. He came from that environment. I just think the whole NFL culture was too much for him. And I think,
Yeah.
I think the black players look at him a little different. And I don't think he has a relationship with them because I don't think he has a lot
Yep.
of experience. Now I know
Yep.
I'm gonna get a lot of pushback on this, but as a guy who's been one of the few white guys in locker rooms all my life, how do you relate with it? How's the culture? Do they trust you? Do they look at you? Do they believe in you? Do you have their back?
Yep.
Do they have your back? See, I don't see that with Zach Wilson. He walked in that locker room and the black players are looking at coach like, pretty boy, this ain't him.
Yeah. Yeah. And you
Good
know what? You're
thing
right
about
on
that.
point with that, Coach. You're right on point with that. And the reason why I can say that I played football in a locker room from 7 years old, and when I played football, one thing I could tell you in high school, I went to a mixed school. They shipped us from the neighborhood to another school across town where I ended up playing with actually Dave Peterson, who's Doug Peterson's little brother. He was my tight end, and I was the quarterback. And I can tell you how locker rooms work is like this. If you're a white boy that can play, the black dudes are gonna love you. They're gonna give you so much confidence in yourself, and you're part of them. You're one of them because you're tough, you know. But if you're one of those guys, like you're saying, what you're feeling like Zach Wilson is one of those guys who coming in and don't really know how to deal with, with black players, and also we know how black people are. Period. We see through fake stuff quick. So if we see like, hey man, yeah, this guy's acting like he's cool, but really, we could tell that he's not comfortable with us. They're gonna alienate you if you can't play. If you can't
Well,
play, you're gonna get alienated.
and I said this last week on a different spaces, and I caught heat for it. I caught heat for it from the white folk. There's two types. There's two types of white boys. There's a suburban white boy and there's a urban white boy. They're completely different white boys.
Right.
And and
Right.
you as a black man know which white boy is walking through that door in 5 minutes.
Yep. 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 And I'm on here with two urban ones.
Uh,
We talked about this one a little bit. The Vikings -7.5 at the Bears with Nathan Peterman at quarterback. This one's so tough for me.
Yeah.
Two teams we want to fade. I think Peterman's. I don't think he's very good at all. I mean, even on backup quarterbacks, I think he's one of the worst backup quarterbacks in the league. This Vikings team, man, after a strong start, they've really struggled. Not to mention, this game is outdoors. Not the best for the style of football that they play. I wasn't planning on getting involved here, but if you have an edge, I'd love to hear it.
Only edge that I could see in here is that Chicago is playing against a terrible defense. The Vikings defense isn't that good. So we know that Minnesota is going to probably be able to put up points, but we are outside, and we know how Kirk Cousins plays outdoors. He's not who you want to bet on an outdoor game. So this one right here for me would be actually a Bears or stay away. I'm probably most likely going to stay away, but as the game gets a little bit closer, I pay attention to see who's in and who's out for both teams. But I know the Vikings need this game. But even with that said, we always talk about the great thing about the NFL is guys need to put up tape. They're trying to, put up tape for their next job for the next season. Every game matters, even when you're a losing team. So I think that the Bears will still put up a fight and give a good effort. Matt Eberflus seems to be a pretty good coach for them, and they've done pretty good offensively, getting guys in the right position. It's just about having a quarterback that can execute it. Nathan Peterman is a veteran, so even though he's not good, I'm sure that their passing game will still be able to do some things against a really struggling Minnesota secondary. So for me on this game, it would be Chicago at home with the points or pass. As Coach said, it started out as 1 and shot out with a 7.5. I don't know if Justin Fields is worth 6.5 points.
He might be because Peterman's that bad. What do you think, Coach?
well, there's two ways I look at this game, and I'll look at it from the Bears standpoint. How many players are willing to play to put something on tape, and how many players already have their U-Haul truck loaded, ready to leave town?
Yeah.
So I pass on the game.
Do you think the Vikings have a shot at all in the playoffs? I mean, they might
Well,
get the Giants again in round one.
Here's the issue with the Vikings. Let's look at their wins. How many one-score games do they win, and how many one-score games do they lose? If you beat the Vikings, you better beat them at 10 points or more. Because look at their record.
Yeah.
They win one-score games, so that makes them dangerous.
Yeah.
I have a big future on them. I'm just trying to get the Vikings to the second round. If I can do that, then I can hedge.
If I were you, I'd want the Giants in the first round. Then I think that's their best matchup. And that game was close when they played 3 weeks ago or whatever it was.
Well, the Giants are not going to score a lot of points, so that automatically puts the Vikings in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dabo's a great coach, though, coach of the year. So even though they might not win that game, he'll keep it close.
You're talking to a Chargers fan, and we passed on him.
Yeah, bad.
Probably getting Sean Payton next year.
Not now. They made the playoffs. Made the playoffs. Brandon Staley's going to be there again, man.
Wait a minute. They're not going to do the Schottenheimer thing again. They never recovered from that, so they will not do that again.
Yeah, they're going to keep Brandon Staley.
They have to, because they got burned.
I think SP either comes back to the Saints and Allen goes back to defensive coordinator, or he's going to have to go to Denver. It's just all about if he wants to get in the Russell Wilson business.
I don't think he goes to Denver. Russell Wilson's cooked.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I would much rather coach Justin Herbert if I were him.
We all would.
Final game of our NFL season is going to be the Lions. They'll be in Green Bay taking on the Packers. There's a scenario where the Lions will be eliminated at that point, but let's just go ahead and talk about this game like they're still alive and the playoffs are on the line, because I think that's a lot of fun. And I've been wondering if the line changes if the Lions do end up eliminated by everything that happens here. I think they did a great job on this line, because I think the Packers are going to win, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see the Lions keep this game close. Almost like the Vikings, we do have concerns with this dome team going outdoors against the Green Bay team that can run the football. But the Lions have some weapons on offense. I could see them keeping this close. What are your thoughts, 5-star?
I'm on the Packers on this one. I've already betted. I took them at -4. Now it's up to 5 points. I like everything that's going on with Green Bay late in the season. The reason why I took this game, I'm a big fan of Detroit. I'm a big fan of Jared Goff. And, I also love their coach. I think he's going to have them motivated. And they're going to give a great effort, because the Lions always try their best. The problem is Jared Goff is terrible outside. We've seen it over and over again. He's not good in cold weather outside. He has problems protecting the ball. He had 2 victories this year, as we talked about, in New York against the Giants and against the Jets. But besides that, he went back to his old self when the weather was cold in Carolina. And I love how Green Bay's playing. The only weak spot, surprisingly, for Green Bay is the quarterback. I mean, their defense is looking strong, fast, and young. Their offense is looking strong, fast, and young. Their special teams is playing well. The old man is the only one who isn't clicking right now, but he can turn it on any time, because he's a Hall of Famer and he's one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in the league. We got the Packers with the motivating factor of making the playoffs and staying high. But most of all, remember, they only scored 9 points in Detroit earlier this year. They allowed the Lions to shut them down. We kind of had that similar situation last week with Minnesota blew out Green Bay at the beginning of the year, and you saw that Green Bay got its lick back. I think they're going to get their lick back against Detroit this week. I don't think this game is close. I think that the Packers win by a touchdown or more.
Wow. Okay. What do you think, Coach?
This is the only game I'm playing this week, and it's a pretty big play. I laid the 4. I took Green Bay.
See, that's my boy, man. Coach always on the same side, man. He's a shark.
I think Green Bay lights them up. They're gonna light them up. This is a 17-point win, I think.
Yeah, they light them up. They light them up. They're gonna light them up, because they lost to them early in the year, man. They're gonna light them up.
Aaron didn't come this far to go to walk out. They're gonna smoke them.
Yeah, I believe so too.
All right. Well, that's the NFL games. Did you want to talk the FCS game here real quick?
I want to talk about it because I got a huge middle. But go ahead. I'll listen. But I got a huge future on Georgia. But go ahead.
Okay. So you talk about the FBS championship. We forgot about that one, Spread. Let's talk about that one first.
All right, let's do that one.
Yeah, let's get to TCU and Georgia, man.
Yeah,
Let's get to
Here,
TCU.
I'm gonna let you guys help me for a minute. I got Georgia on a big future. Had it from week one.
Okay.
Now I got a 13.5, 14-point middle. Do I hedge and play a middle? Do I ride? What do I do?
I would take money line TCU just because you can't lose for sure, and then just put a little bit on them on money line. But I would not be surprised if Georgia comes in and focuses this game and covers that spread, just because we know it's going to be a huge percentage of the money on TCU after that percentage, and the books don't lay lines out there for any reason. They put lines out there for one reason and one reason only, and that's to try to trap the public. And with 78 to 80% of the money early on TCU at that line, either TCU's not going to cover or TCU's going to win straight up. I guarantee you. They're either going to win money line or they're not going to even be close. So I would hedge it
You
by
didn't
going
help me a
TCU.
bit. You didn't help me a
Yeah,
damn bit.
I go with TCU money line if I was hedging it, man. I go TCU money line if I was hedging it, man.
All right, Kings fan, tell me what should I do?
Oh, I defer to 5-star on all college football. I watch college football as a fan, but he gives me the plays, and I don't even know the players I'm rooting for. I don't know any of the names of the quarterbacks. I'm a complete college football casual fan, so
the plays the over.
Point.
Here's what I'm thinking I'm going to do, but I'm holding out because I'm hoping Georgia money pushes the line to 14.5.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm hoping. I don't know if it'll happen, but that's what I'm hoping.
Right now, TCU is taking money offshore.
Yeah, it's coming back the other way.
12.
Well,
it's coming back the other way, Coach. Yeah.
Well, here's my, and I haven't right now. I'm just writing Georgia, but I'm getting close to playing the points and play the middle because I even if I lose the points, I still make a nice profit.
Right.
But that's what I'm thinking about doing. But
yeah,
you know, the Astros. I rode the Astros out. I'm going to ride. I don't know. I like Georgia from week one, but I haven't liked Georgia the last few weeks of the year.
No, they were supposed to lose last week against Ohio State, but they pulled it out. I think what's happening is you're starting to see that Stetson Bennett is a good college quarterback. When he faces these big time quarterbacks on the other side of the field, he has problems. But I think he's facing another college quarterback because I don't think Max Duggan is like a lot of people thinking he's a pro. I put him more like a Gardner Minshew where he may become a backup one day or something like that, but he's not dynamic enough to beat this Georgia team. He won't be able to beat him with his legs. He's going to have to throw the ball and get to Quentin Johnston. That's their advantage. Quentin Johnston is a beast. He's the best receiver in the country. I expect him to have a great pro career as well. He's like 6'5" and runs like a 4.3, man, and he can high point the ball, yards after catch, all of that. So I think that this game's going over, guys. Because Sonny Dykes has a way with TCU to make everybody play his style of football. He knows he's gonna make you play Big 12 football. So I think this game goes over 62.
Here's a surprise that I think everybody's going to. First of all, we all got fooled by the Big 12. TCU is much better than the people think because of the Big 12 laid on them. I believe here's the surprise I think I'm going to see, and this is why I'm kind of leaning TCU in the middle. I think TCU is going to be able to block Georgia. Yeah, and I don't think Georgia's ever seen this before. They're going to see guys that are going to look them straight in the eye and line up and say, let's put our mouthpieces in and let's play this game in a phone booth. And I think that's going to catch Georgia off guard. Because Georgia wants you out in space and they want to use their speed. And I know Georgia's front line is good. Don't get me wrong. But bullies are better when they don't have a bully across from them.
That's right. That's right. And what a lot of people are not considering, and that's why I do so well on college football coaches, because I'm really tapped into high school football as well. And that's the difference. The Texas recruits that they have at TCU are not afraid of the Georgia recruits at Georgia. They look them as they play this type of guys all the time and been playing them their whole career through high school. And so it's no fear, as you said. And I like Sonny Dykes, man. I feel like he's one of the sharper coaches out there. We know that Kirby Smart's just going to play Kirby Smart football. He runs the Nick Saban template. He's going to stick to that, which is just playmakers making the plays and playing sound defense. But he better put in some wrinkles if he thinks he's going to play this
Well,
TCU team. This TCU team is really creative and really sharp.
they got speed too.
Yeah, yeah. They're going to be
Any,
looking to surprise the football world, I think.
anyways, I have to run. I got to go. My ride's here. I got to get to the doctor and do a little checkup.
Okay.
I want to
Love
tell
it,
you guys.
Coach.
I want to tell
Thanks
you.
for jumping on. We appreciate
We appreciate you,
another
Coach, so
person.
much, man. Yeah,
Appreciate
we
you guys.
appreciate you.
All right,
Yeah, we're going to talk to you real
rebounding
soon,
and
Coach.
no small guards, Coach. I got it.
That's,
I got it.
That's right, man. By the way, do I follow you on Twitter?
Yeah.
Send me a tweet so I know, because I get so confused on my life. Send me a tweet so I know which one you are, so I can start reading your. Yeah, so I can start reading your stuff and start trolling you.
Yeah, I can't wait. I love the insight.
All right, have a good one, Coach. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks.
Coach Richard Goodman, man, aka Ricky G. You guys make sure you follow him on Twitter. He's one of the best followers on there. Brilliant football and basketball mind. OG grew up in a sports gambling house, and he continues all these years later. Man, he's one of the real OGs from the Bay Area, man.
Yeah, I love talking to him. I love following his tweets because he's not afraid to really stir things up. And he really pushes back against some of those popular Warriors guys. And so far, he's borne out to be true. He said, don't trade Andrew Wiggins, right? And his newest one that he's putting the flag on, and we'll see where he goes. But he says, don't trade Wiseman either. It's a sell low spot. And the kid only got the potential to get better. There's no way you're going to get a return that's equal to what.
They're crazy if they trade Wiseman. Wiseman's 7 foot and versatile, man. He could be something. They just got to, be patient. He's a kid. Let's get to the FCS championship game, man. We didn't talk about that one. We got South Dakota State -5 against North Dakota State. These are old school rivalries, guys, and this is going to be a play that I'm going to be on. I'm going to definitely be on South Dakota State -5. They've been playing better football. This game is going to be on Sunday in Frisco, Texas. A lot of people don't take in consideration that North Dakota State plays most of their games indoors. They've been at home all through the playoffs at the Fargo Dome. They should have lost to Incarnate Word, but Incarnate Word fumbled the bag late in that game. I don't think that South Dakota State does, so they beat them the last 3 times they played each other. They were able to score 16 unanswered in the second half to steal the game at Fargo Dome last time, but I don't think it's this close this time. I like everything that South Dakota State brings. They have a great running game with Isaiah Davis. They have a dual threat quarterback who has a lot of experience, even though he's a sophomore. He started now for 3 seasons, and that's in Mark Winowski. And then they have the Janky twins, Jackson and Jaden, who are really great wide receivers. I think the Jackson ends up playing on Sunday. So we're going to go with South Dakota State -5 in the FCS championship. Once again, the little boys know how to do it a lot better than the big boys, as we're starting to see from how competitive these playoffs were. Mark Emmert in the NCAA, go to 16 and play them at bowl sites. Put 16 teams in, give everybody a chance to win and do a round robin like the FCS been doing for years. Just use the bowl sites as the places to play the games, as the neutral sites, and I guarantee you it's going to be a big upswing in college football. I guarantee we have some great playoffs, some great upsets, and I guarantee that you guys get more sponsor money. All right, let's get to the future.
You just ended opt-outs in one sentence, right?
Yep, opt-outs are over. That'll end it all in one
sentence. Leave. You can't leave when you got a chance for a title.
That's right.
Let's move into the future. We want to revisit something, and it's going to go right into the Ball and Parlay. You have 2 tickets that we're pretty happy to have, of course. The first one is Jacksonville to win the AFC South. They're 6-point favorites to do that right now. So the line, and we're going to lay the 6 in the Ball and Parlay, spoiler alert. But all you need is that money line win to cash the tickets. And then, of course, the Cincinnati Bengals still looking good there. I know they got a rough break there. We're not going to go too into that, right? Because I think that because now the Chiefs clinch number 1 with the win straight up, right?
And the Bengals were going to have home field advantage if they win their game against Buffalo. It's a tough situation, but they don't mind going on the road. So we'll see how everything works out and how the NFL. So the NFL has officially said that they're just going to go by win percentage and count.
I don't know if that's official. That's just what I've been hearing is going to end up happening. I don't know if they've officially put a statement out though.
So we're looking good on those future tickets, guys. Hope you guys got them with them. Let's get into the Ball and Parlay.
All right, it's Ball and Parlay time. I already spoiled it. Just break it down one more time. You got the Jaguars.
Hey, man, all I'm going to say is Trevor Lawrence versus Josh Dobbs. And that's enough for me alone right there. And then remember, This young Jacksonville defense is playing ball right now. They're going to shut down Derrick Henry. They're going to get an early lead. I also like Jags first half. You guys get Jags first half -3 and Jags -6 for the game. I think that the Jacksonville team gets up early. I think Doug Peterson is smart enough to know that if they play with a lead, it's going to be very difficult for Josh Dobbs to get the Titans back into the game. So we're going to be on the Jags -3 first half and the Jags -6 for the game.
And one thing I want to point out, we love Mike Vrabel, and I think this is a tough Tennessee team. This team's been absolutely racked with injuries. The fact that they're even in a position to compete for the division title, I think is a credit to them. But at a certain extent, right, you're missing all these starters from your defense. It's really hard to get it done. Credit to him, credit to the coaching staff. Things just didn't go his way here. I know we were opposite on here, but this is my favorite play of the day. I do like the Mavericks money line. Tonight, Coach talked about riding these streaks. And one thing, I use home run splits there when I'm creating my numbers. And this Mavericks team, right behind the Warriors, is the best home team in the NBA. Celtics having a little problems. And that's, I think, some of your disdain for the NBA. It doesn't really matter if the Celtics lose tonight. It doesn't really matter that they had this bad road trip. If anything, hey, it's something for them to work on when they finally get a chance to practice. I think that's one of the problems in the NBA, though. Too many games, not enough practice. And I think a lot of times, that's what happens. But I don't know. I think the Celtics team might be ready to get back home. I think this is going to be I talked about it on my NBA Rundown show. Even though they didn't win the title last year, the Celtics are getting everyone's best shot like they were the defending champions, like they were the Warriors. We know teams want to beat the defending champions, right? Teams want to beat the Lakers because most of the players on the team grew up with LeBron being the best player in the NBA, so he means a lot to them. And now everybody's giving that best shot to the Boston Celtics because even though they didn't win last year, I think most people think that they're the best team in the league. And I think that, that can kind of wear on you. I think the Mavericks take advantage of that tonight. I'm getting a nice plus 121 there. I'm taking the Mavericks money line.
Mavericks money line. Okay, and I'm just give out a quick two-teamer for the people to jump on real fast. Tonight, we got some tennis. As you know, our favorite sport is back tonight to bet on, which is tennis, man, especially WTA. Give you guys a two-teamer to do. I want you guys to put your girl, Swiatek. She's facing Pagula, which we know she's dominated her over the past.
Yeah, it's a bad matchup. Messy. Yeah.
Horrible matchup for her. Let's go with Swiatek times Leylah Fernandez. Leylah Fernandez has always been a good player. Now I think that she's trying to bounce back from having a little down season last year. She plays against Bonaventure, who's not good. Bonaventure just won a match out of it was trash against trash, really. So we're gonna go with Fernandez, who has a way more dynamic game than Bonaventure, and put her with Swiatek, who I think dominates Pagula again. And put those two together, you get a minus 150, but it's a layup. So you guys go with Leylah Fernandez tonight times Iga Swiatek.
All right. Love that bonus play there. So I'm doing also one other thing. We're giving out bonus plays. You're probably going to shake your head, but I did it last time and I got it done. We'll take the Rockets plus the points against the Jazz. I think this Jazz team, if you're running numbers, they're going to be overvalued because of how good they were at the beginning of the year. And I just think that the Rockets can keep it close. Will they win? I don't know. But I'm getting +7. That's the number I love in basketball, because you won't foul past it. So I think the Rockets keep it close. And I just think they have the offense to keep up with it. And then how do you beat the Rockets? You go down low against them. The Jazz don't really have that big bruiser in the middle to take advantage of it. So give me the younger, quicker team at home. I got the Rockets +7.
Yeah, they'll be motivated because a lot of talk on Rockets Twitter and around Houston yesterday. They were very disappointed with their effort last night when they got smoked. So on that game, I like Lauri Markkanen over. He's probably 25.5, 24.5. He's been on fire. Last game, the guys were looking him off, and we still were able to hit 25.5, and them getting fouled for the three-pointer last play. But I think he gets more looks, and I think he can get whatever he wants against the Rockets defense. So give me on that game, Lauri Markkanen going over the points. Guys, we appreciate you for tuning in. We went long today because we had in Coach Richard Goodman, and we really appreciate him stopping by, especially with him dealing with health conditions, and we hope that he gets better real soon, man. We're going to have him on here often. We're going into the best time of the year, guys. It's time to heat up for these playoffs. You guys make sure that you follow my guy Spread Astaire for his NBA and tennis plays. Follow me at 5 Star in Vegas. Spell out the 5. I'm going to have tennis plays up, college basketball, college football. We were unbelievably hot last week. We went 11-0 on first half college football, and we've been on a heater on the NCAA basketball. Yesterday we went 7-1. If you guys want to sign up with the Supreme Clientele, make sure to DM me, and we'll talk about getting you a package together. Anything for the people before we get out of here, Spread?
No, fun show. We got to bring Coach back soon.
Yeah, we definitely got to bring him back very soon. Hey, guys, Happy New Year's to you all. Best of luck to y'all. We'll talk to you guys next week.